OpTic Gaming officially entered Apex Legends on April 28th, 2022. The team they picked up, formerly under the banner of Esports Arena, was arguably the best team in the game during the online era before the return of LANs. Then heading into the Split 2 playoffs, they continued with their success, placing 4th on LAN in front of the entire world. But at the Year 2 Championship, cracks in the armor began to show as they finished in 16th. Heading into Year 3, a bounce back was expected, but things reached rock bottom when OpTic failed to qualify for the Split 1 playoffs entirely. Roster changes occurred, and the pressure was on. The OpTic Gaming brand in esports is one of excellence. This new trio of Skittlecakes, Knocked, and Dropped needed to prove they were capable of carrying the weight of those expectations. And at the Year 3 Championship, a year removed from the beginning of their descent, OpTic Gaming returned to their former dominance.
OpTic Gaming versus FaZe Clan. This is esports orgs royalty. OpTic are far healthier in the moment, but both Duck Bales are down. 1, 3, 4! Not with the damage, not with 2. Just have to deal with one more player. Drop goes in. Drop with the spray. Drop with the win. Oh! Come on! Are you fucking kidding me? And we know the boys at OpTic, calm, cool, and collected always. We rarely see them stand out of their chairs and celebrate. They know the job's not finished.
No, not at all. Look at
Realize eliminated. OpTic now. They're already. OpTic now, first team to pass that match point threshold. If they win this next game, it is all over. OpTic have made the play. They think they can win this game. OpTic still alive. NRG still alive. 3 squads remain. It's Acend. It's NRG. It's OpTic, and now it's Jack 2. OpTic Gaming might be about to break records. Acend eliminated. This could be it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Welcome back to The Reset. If you enjoy ALGS content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, shout out to OpTic Dropped for doing an interview for this video. If you want to see our full unedited conversation, check out my Patreon, link in the description. As mentioned in the intro, OpTic had a bit of a rough patch about a year ago, and it was rather surprising considering how big of a brand OpTic is and how dominant this team once was. They were heading into Split 2 and knew they needed a change. They dropped Duplex and picked up Dropped, who was previously on Space Station Gaming.
Skittle and Knocked actually randomly messaged me around the time towards the end of the split when they kind of knew that they weren't going to make LAN. They needed a miracle kind of thing, and they kind of realized all right, something's got to change. They actually messaged me at a time where I was also kind of dealing with that stuff, so when they hit me up, it was kind of meant to be in a way. I think my team knew that something was going to change eventually, because we did well as a team, but we never really had that X factor on SSG, I felt like. So OpTic was kind of that opportunity for me where I really thought that I could push to that limit. I always looked at OpTic, and out of all the teams that I would have wanted to join, they were always the team I wanted to join.
Immediately, this roster change caused a shift in not only their team dynamic, but the Sharks were circling. OpTic held 2 of the best POIs on the game, Mill on Stormpoint and Big Mod and Stacks on World's Edge. But oftentimes when roster changes occur, other teams see an opening and decide to contest for your POIs. So Dark Zero decides to contest for Mill, and Luminosity contests for Lava City. OpTic didn't want to contest on both maps, so they give up Mill to Dark Zero and move over to Down Beast, but with the Luminosity contest, it raged on for the entirety of Split 2. And although the contest was largely a stalemate with neither side truly gaining an edge, OpTic was doing incredibly well in the standings while Luminosity was on the brink of not qualifying, leading to OpTic managing to claim their POIs moving forward. Heading into the Split 2 playoffs now uncontested, many expected them to continue their success on to LAN, but things got rocky immediately as they fell to the losers bracket. They eventually do make it to the finals, which is the reason they end up securing their spot at Champs, and they get an 8th place finish. And although that 8th place finish was not exactly how they wanted it to go, they learned a lot about themselves and their team dynamic heading into Champs.
Before Champs, Me and Skittle had like a very, very codependent like IGL style, where it was like, you know, any call that was made most of the time, we would kind of run it by each other.
I feel like that'd be a fucking great push for us. What do you think about that, Skittle?
Yeah, we can try that. I dropped an arc there.
Yeah, like it was kind of like a green light thing with each other that we would do, but then we learned once we got to LAN that it just wasn't working out. We kind of got screwed for it sometimes because we wouldn't make that split-second decision, then we would get screwed for it. Because on LAN, it's like, there's such little room for error. It's like if you don't make the call and you hesitate a little bit, it's gone. The opportunity's gone. And so we went from kind of a co-IGL style to more of a still co-IGL with me and Skittle, but me more being like a main IGL. That's the biggest change we made going from the split 2 playoff into champs.
So the team's dynamic has been figured out. But what about their play style? OpTic was once renowned for being one of those teams that took forever out in zone, crafting, getting god tier armor, and then Valk-ulting into god spot. But over time, Respawn has made shifts to the game that have limited that playstyle, making the immense benefits that were once available to edge teams less effective. With this, we've seen more teams playing a hybrid style where they take priority positioning based on specific zones and play edge on the further zones, and OpTic has embraced this hybrid playstyle completely.
Before I joined OpTic, they were a very Valk-ult heavy team. Whenever it came to the Valk meta, like they were you could see it in the champs of 2022 when they played really poorly and they got like, I think it was like 16th or whatever. When their Valk-ults weren't working, they weren't doing well. That is the biggest thing that changed when I joined, was just the consistency in the game plan. And I also think I brought a lot more like critical thinking into, how do we play this zone? How do we play that zone? Which side of the zone do we want to play from here? We're not necessarily like a team that's just like, we're not like roaming around the map, like looking for fights. Like we're playing for position. That's what we're doing. Like I know Acend talks about it sometimes too. Like we fight for positions. We don't fight just to fight. That's definitely our play style. It's just a hybrid, rotate early if zone's near us and we know we can get a good spot, and just kind of loot up and play late if it's a far one.
And that last bit is something I really want to highlight. Dropped said they don't fight to fight, they fight for positioning. That mentality is what defines their playstyle fully. When we start going through gameplay, I'm going to show a lot of their rotations in depth because OpTic put on an absolute masterclass in playing the hybrid playstyle effectively. They essentially have the benefits of insane loot that edge teams get, but have a very zone-esque mentality about rotating to playable spots. Their macro is incredibly creative as well. Some of the rotations we'll walk through later are the entire reason they were able to perform as well as they did. Once we arrived at champs in the group stages, it was very clear OpTic was a totally different team compared to the way that they started the split 2 playoffs. Their first set was a bit mediocre, but in the following 2 sets, they put up over 60 points each, meaning they walked into the winners bracket with ease, placing 4th overall in the group stage. Winners was more of the same. They didn't win any games, but once again, they placed 4th overall. But we do have one key takeaway that we need to cover coming from this bracket stage. Dark Zero and Fnatic both end up having to go to the losers bracket and get eliminated, failing to make it to the finals. This is important for OpTic, as on Storm Point landing at Down Beast, these 2 teams take up the POIs next to them, and their absence does end up having a direct effect on the potential outcome of some of these games. Normally I don't do this, and we cover some of the games along the way from the groups or bracket stage, but OpTic had one of the craziest LAN finals performances ALGS has ever seen, not only dominating early, but coming incredibly close to winning almost every single game. So we're going to jump straight into Championship Sunday. OpTic, due to their 4th place finish in the winners bracket, is already coming in with 7 advancement points. In game 1, we begin on World's Edge and we get an Overlook pull. This is a zone that OpTic has priority to, but we have 2 possible main pulls that the players in the lobby are going to have to decipher. It can pull to Overlook, as I have already spoiled, or it could pull down here to the no-name buildings. This is important for OpTic because they will take the same general rotate, but the specifics can change things for them big time. And as they're dropping, they call out that Acend at Geyser does not have beacon and therefore won't know the second circle information, meaning they won't interfere.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Overlook. I wouldn't mind getting tunnel, and Acend might not get it,
I
right?
have Digi.
Cool. Ascend might not take it because of the fucking
They're on beacon, yeah.
Raven from TSM brought this same thing up when I spoke to him, but Dropped wanted to emphasize that the Geyser team actually does not typically interfere with their rotate at all through the tunnel regardless.
Those teams, Geyser would never really affect our rotates, and you know, like I said, that might be partially because they know we're going to be coming, so they know like they don't want to fight it, you know what I mean, because we're just going to out loot them and just, you know, outgun them.
But there is another key piece of information that can affect OpTic's rotates through the tunnel, and that is our good old friends Luminosity. Typically, they will mirror OpTic's rotate, and eventually a fight will break out in the tunnel. But LG end up fighting Ironblood Gaming from Dome, and they lost. So OpTic's tunnel rotate is relatively free, and they leave very early to ensure it. But once they get there, we have a decision to make. If it's a no-name pull, such as in Game 1 of the Split 2 playoffs, then they can play this exit on the left side. If it's an Overlook pull, then it's important they move to the far exit on the right side. They know it's an Overlook pull, so they decide to push the right side, but TSM is already holding it.
LG is done.
Yep. They probably pushed Dome team.
Can we peek the top here?
Yep, let's peek top. They're probably extended out really far.
No, let's push up.
Do we just want to like rat here and wait for one? Spike, back up.
Climb up the left here.
Climb up, knock, go.
On the track.
He sees us, yeah.
I'm 35 blue.
Almost cracked, yeah, cracked.
We have triple digi, we should just smoke him on cover. He's just sitting behind that truck. Do you have a nade?
It's probably TSM. We need to bait out their people.
Yeah.
Moving up.
I don't see anything on my digi.
Yeah, they're backing up. They're backing up really far.
42. Cute. On their wall.
They're playing outside. One is light, one is light.
I walled us.
I'm peeking right. Yeah, I'm peeking right with you. We just hard swing right, maybe?
Left.
I think they might have ran. I don't see anything.
In the door.
Might have taken the spot.
I think
Yeah, we have it.
I think that's them fighting.
I talked to TSM about this after the game, and we got like crazy loot for like digis. We got we had triple digi on our team. All of us had digis, and usually TSM back during Seer meta, they'd have their reps just like hardcore scanning, just like watching.
I think we got it.
I'm just running up. Nah, they're here. Yeah, it's a Seer.
But they weren't playing Seer, so they were playing really far back, and they gave us a lot of space to just basically walk up. And Skittle was the one that actually made the call. He was like, dude, we got triple digi. Like, why don't we just smoke up on these guys and just like force them back? We ended up smoking up on them, and it just was kind of free sailing from there because they didn't have any digis, and they had like, I think it was like a double white, like a white or two whites, and we had like god tier armors. So it was just kind of, they were just forced to give us the spot.
So they managed to push TSM out of the spot and begin to expand out of their side on the map once the circle closes off their backs. And here's where I want to highlight a clip of their comms. They only get a bit of KP from this clip, but listen to the efficiency in which they communicate to each other. Everyone is always involved, and their roles are incredibly clear just based on the way they're talking. Pay attention as Skittle is scouting ahead, Noct is anchoring, and Dropped is playing the in-between, helping the team naturally flow together.
Looking for KP here.
I'm coming to you.
Yeah, go to him.
I'm looking for this with you.
I'm ulting this.
I'm going.
Should I full commit with you?
Yes.
Come in.
Just wipe that shit. Throwing arcs, Skittle. Backing up.
I'm with you guys.
I'm selling.
Hold our spot. Our spot's not in, by the way. We're playing for this.
Okay. I need to get light ammo off.
I'm going back to hold the right.
Yeah, hold the right.
These comms are just perfection. No wasted words, everyone's calm, they react quickly to new information each player is relaying, and they execute perfectly, making sure that not only can they get the KP, but nobody is able to walk up behind them and steal their spot. As we fast forward, OpTic end up reaching the endgame in a final fight, which in true esports fashion is gonna be against FaZe.
Yeah, Bingle. Looking out, wide left.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna peek it.
We can dodge Bingle on right.
Chill,
I'm on you.
I'm throwing nades. Stun one, stun two. Play aggro.
I'm jumping over on the right. Catch it.
I'm with you. Be on the wall.
Play mode. Kill my knock.
Hold on. Armor top. He's on the right.
Yeah. Swing with you.
Yeah, swing. And then I'll shoot.
I have a knock. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, baby. Too easy. Too fucking easy.
So OpTic Gaming have begun the finals with a 25-point banger, putting them up to 32 total points. Absolutely insane start. Game 2, they only grabbed 2 points, but notably DreamFire wins this game, dropping a 27-point game, meaning similar to OpTic, they are going to be nearing match point. In Game 3, we head over to Storm Point and we have a major shift in the lobby. As previously mentioned, Dark Zero is not present, meaning we have KCP and DreamFire contesting for Mill, which of course is right next to OpTic. And the Green Wall decides that this contest would be a great thing to capitalize on.
I like the swap up from Blackhand too. We also had noted, you know, behind the scenes, they were trying to fight for a POI originally, but here's that 50-50 off the rip to get those bids with the better armor.
Exactly. You see DreamFire landing on the better side. They pick up the purples. That's a big advantage. Not only that, we do see the knocks.
Are they going to be able to get a full reset here? They're just trying to get into position. Coming in from the skies on the gravity lip, but also has a knockdown right in front of him to play off of from a slight lip.
But OpTic are here. They didn't land it down base. OpTic, the rogue element, have come in to immediately third party this, and I'm not sure either team expected it.
Drop. They're thirding it.
Oh, we're thirding it. Yes!
Yes!
Get the fuck in there, boys!
Oh, these sick bastards.
Yeah, so we actually kind of took a little page out of DZ's book, funny enough, who, you know, them not being in the lobby was the reason that happened, but they, in the, I think it was either group stage, I think it was group stages where they did it to Dojo at Siphon.
Hold up a minute. What's going on here? Dark Zero having a little peek towards Lava Siphon. Timmy puts him to sleep, but here come Dark Zero. That's always the problem of being in a contest. Everyone knows you're contesting.
Yeah, they didn't have Beacon at Harvester, and so we basically kind of going into it, we're like, if we don't get Beacon at Beast, like, what's the point in us, you know, why would we not third it? You know what I mean? It's literally right here, free KP, we get Beacon at Mill. So that was kind of our thought process. Like, if we had Beacon at Beast, we probably wouldn't have thirded it. Kind of like 2 birds, 1 stone, because we also wanted to kill DreamFire so that they didn't hit match point.
So OpTic is able to not only get some KP, but ensure that DreamFire is not able to hit match point. And that leads to DreamFire fans on social media being very upset.
I know, like, the people at OpTic, like the higher ups, they were loving it. Like, they were just having like a laugh at it kind of thing, you know? And it was like, all right, you know, give us the impressions, why not? But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's the way of the game. You know, DreamFire would have done the same exact thing to us, so I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna feel bad about it.
As we move further into this game, OpTic begins to rotate through Jurassic and reaches this standstill point as they try to get into the final zone outside of Launchpad. If you've ever seen one of these zones, you know that Oxygen is always holding these specific buildings, so if OpTic wants to rotate south through Antenna, they're going to have to pick a fight with OXG. Instead, OpTic pulls off a rotate that I personally can't ever remember seeing that often, where they decide to evac tower straight down the center of zone and land at this rock, and they're completely safe.
Jurassic Gate resetting.
Jurassic Gate, yeah. We could just play for Jurassic Gate and play for that balloon, remember?
Let's go that way.
Remember, we're gonna just go for 100 deep spot, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bang on. We should just fucking go balloon, not the bangle.
Yeah. Oh, blue on the street?
Yes, I'm batting.
I placed it. Trying to hit you guys. Oh, they have angles on it.
I smoked them.
They're sliding down already.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Spot is spot. Spot is spot over here.
Yep.
You can just slide right here. I'll just smoke us. Smoking us?
Yes.
We need to get a little bit more forward here.
Call wall if you
Telling?
careful right.
I think on me is the safe spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Antenna team has to walk out into us, I think. Do you have ulti close?
We learned that from 100 Thieves, so they shout out 100 Thieves. I think even in the VOD you can hear me say, like, go to the 100 Thieves spot. We like literally call that spot the 100 Thieves spot. Yeah, I mean, we had talked about doing that, and we had done it before, I think once, in a game, and we saw how strong it was in that certain zone, because you can just kind of land in the middle and just no one shoots you, and you get to just basically make whatever play you want to.
Oxygen didn't notice them either as they go to fight NRG, allowing OpTic to third party completely clear their side and then go on to close out the win in the endgame.
I have 40 left. I have no wall, by the way. I used it. Their wall, let's go down. We should wait.
They're pushing towards them. They're pushing towards them.
I'm moving up.
I'm gonna horizon off this. Look for right team. Focus right team.
I open them.
I'm moving up. I'm swinging this. All Neil.
Let's fucking go.
It's too fucking easy.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, guys.
And once again, it was a massive game, getting 24 total points, meaning that after 3 games, OpTic are the only team to reach match point with a chance to win it all in the very next game. To start off game number 4, OpTic does have ring console this time, so they don't third party the contest, but we still got some shenanigans going on. You see, OpTic was not the only team to take advantage of this contest. NRG, who lands at checkpoint, was keeping tabs on everything as well, and Sweet decides to steal the trident that the Mill team gets.
I'm actually like a little sketched on how OpTic just landed.
We have his own.
Oh my gosh. Okay, just to avoid like throwing. Yeah, just to avoid the throw here, I'm gonna be going this way, so OpTic doesn't like get like a havoc off spawn and just one clip me.
And this is big because, as you can see, we have a north pad pull, and both teams are aware of what's at stake.
It's a close zone north pad. Go boys. We're looting fast as fuck. Do not fucking craft or anything. Just double checking. This is the finger or yeah, it is right. It's gonna like end towards the rock. We just take the back finger, and we win the fucking tournament.
Okay, we want to be literally out here in the water. Yeah, behind us, like here. But down B, dude, OpTic might go there with no loot and win the whole LAN. So we might need to go there with nothing and just win the game. Okay. Let me know whenever I have a long boat. We can get loot later in the game from the red room.
I'm ready to go.
I think we probably go like instantly.
We're double white. I have a 30-30 to level up. Looking out towards the finger, I don't see shit.
Yeah, OpTic might try to race us for the spot out there.
Okay.
Do you think the car might just be faster with like one boost? Like low key?
I don't know, you want me to hop in?
Yeah, Nate, what do you think?
Yep, go on. Hop it in.
That's the north pad car.
They're out here in the car, out here in the car.
Let's check out.
Okay, we're just gonna focus on the spot.
Arm up.
Are they fighting for it or no?
Don't see shit on crafter. They're top, they're going for the building. They're going for the building. You're good.
The car. No, they're in front of us.
I don't know if that's not. Go to the fucking rocks. Go to the rocks. Go to the rocks. Go to the rocks behind us.
Somewhat. Getting out.
We're out. We got it. Good timing. Keep to our left. We're fine. We need this back rock is like the hard save spot. They diverted into the right side.
NRG beats OpTic to the spot, but they are able to compose themselves and eventually are able to move to one of the red rooms underneath north pad. And this spot is solid because nobody is going to know that they're there. It's not a typical spot that they play, and nobody has really seen them rotate underneath, so they don't have to worry about a team griefing them. And for most of this game, nothing really happens for OpTic. It's rather uneventful. Although they do get the benefit of going undetected, they don't have great lines of sight to farm up their armors, so they have to wait till the late game and then decide to pop out and third TSM in the dojo.
Do we play to kill the fucking finger?
Like you do?
They're fighting. We wiped this. I
have you.
I gotta kill. We wiped that shit. Yes, go. Wipe that.
On me. Left.
On you. Going up to you. They're all dead. I'm batting. I'm flying. On me.
I'm looking at knock. Nice. Get down. I got the swap.
And they clean it up easy, meaning we have a final 3v3 fight versus NRG. OpTic is on match point already, and this is only game number 4. If they can close it out here, this would not only be a historic moment, but the greatest LAN performance of all time.
Alright, we should off this. Ready?
I'm nading the corner.
Am I coming? Yes, come. Straight on left side. I'm waiting for left side. I'm gonna go back, okay? It's only top two, get to my height now! Get in there!
Yeah, I'm dodging Bagel. Can we take the one height?
I have no one on the height.
We're chilling.
I'm surrendering.
One might be down.
Yeah, Okay,
Let's
no,
support it.
all three top left.
Okay.
All
I
three
have
top
wall
left.
4%. I have wall 4%.
Belling?
16-1.
Did we wall across and take the middle of their finger? Yeah,
They're
they're on your right.
Backpack going 100.
Yeah, 30. I'm marking, I'm nading.
I'm not going. I'm batting. Oh, 2v2. They're behind this wall. Okay, you have the height.
He's up here. Almost cracked. I'm getting chased.
Knocked on here. On the height.
40. I think we should have walled across to the fucking leg.
And NRG clutches it out to extend the lobby at least one more game. But what happened? Well, remember that because of OpTic's positioning, they couldn't farm armors. This results in them finally leaving the red room to third this initial fight with triple blue armor. You'd think that cleaning up the fight, they could easily armor swap the boxes of the teams above to secure red or purple armors. Noct is initially able to do this, but the armor eventually gets cracked, so he has to swap back to the blue. Meanwhile, Drop is able to secure a red, but Skittle and Noct are now left with the blues they have, as all the other boxes are unfortunately outside of the zone. Meanwhile, for NRG, they have multiple boxes to loot, and all three members are able to get armor swaps and loot quickly. But also, as we heard in the comms, Noct does not have his cat wall,
Top left.
Okay, I have wall 4%.
meaning they don't have the ability to split zone and give themselves time to breathe. But the biggest issue was simply the positioning of both teams.
I saw that Sweet had already walked up and taken like the head glitch little like slope part. So I didn't want to smoke up and be like, all right guys, let's like push up here, because I didn't want us to just run straight into a digi prowler and just one of us get clipped immediately. So I kind of just went back to our spot, chilled, started thinking about the next play, and I ended up calling to Noct that we should wall across the water, basically to reset the fight.
Did we wall across and take the middle of their finger?
Because the height part, like the way that the north pad was set up was, you know, the little head glitch like slope parts. Our head glitch slope on our side was worse than theirs because theirs had cover from us and ours was just in the open. I tried climbing up and like shooting, but I was just in the open.
As Dropped explained, notice how Sweet was able to head glitch on his side. Meanwhile, OpTic's little ramp is fully exposed, meaning they cannot take height early. This slight difference in elevation cover puts OpTic on the back foot and allows NRG to be the ones who end up making the push. Had OpTic had the cat wall, they could have split NRG to prevent the push, allowing themselves more time to react. But unfortunately, NRG's push catches them slightly off guard, and they're able to secure the height on OpTic's side rather quickly. NRG is then able to use their cat wall and a thermite to not only separate Noct from his team, but also prevent Skittle and Dropped from challenging them from the height. OpTic was at a disadvantage for loot, abilities, and terrain. With all those advantages for NRG along with their quick decision to make the first move, they were able to take the win. And I won't lie, upon first impression watching this live, you couldn't help but feel OpTic had wasted a chance to win it all. And don't get me wrong, it was not impossible to win this fight, but it was certainly going to be tough. But what if they had won the initial race to the edge of North Pad? What if they didn't have to take the red room down below? If you guys beat NRG to that spot, do you think that you close it out right there?
I hate doing what ifs, but you know, like if NRG knows we're there, right? There's a chance that NRG just ints us basically to keep the tournament alive. But them taking that spot actually ended up allowing us to basically, no one knew which team we were because NRG didn't know we were there. They didn't know where we went. So I want to say, yes, we would win that because, you know, generally it is a pretty free win, but I mean, obviously, like, you know, Sweet, like he's a smart player. He might make a call like, guys, we got to keep this tournament alive, you know, and they might have done some crazy shit if they took red room and like walled out towards us and just pushed us, you know, to get us killed. So I hate doing what ifs, but, you know, I would say there's a higher chance than not that we would have closed out the tournament there, yeah.
We head back to World's Edge for Game 5, and we once again are going to see the impact of Dark Zero not being in the lobby. So DZ lands at Harvester, and once again, because they're not in the lobby, during the first two games, KCP and Realize contest for it. KCP wins both contests, leading to Realize in this game number 5, surprise landing on Acend at Geyser. This is important for later, so just keep this in mind for now. Back to the rest of the game, the circle is going to be pulling towards Countdown and Landslide, and OpTic has a choice here. They could rotate south, which is far more familiar. They'll know the teams around here and the usual spots that these teams play. Or they could rotate north, which is a little bit less predictable and theoretically more clogged. Side note, OpTic does a really good job at preventing teams from knowing who they are throughout this entire lobby.
Big geyser.
Look out for LG. Don't. I don't want anyone to see our trails.
For those who aren't aware, when a team jumps in the lobby, you can see their specific dive trail color the game assigns them. In previous LANs, we've seen other teams get identified based on this, and Skittle is hyper aware of it. Anyway, back to their rotate. Unlike the previous handful of games we've covered, this is one that is going to be a true edge game for them.
Goes on. Far zone, yeah.
Play edge.
They rotate through Siphon to get third ring information first, and see that it is going to be point closer to countdown, which is what leads them to rotating to the north side. But this rotation was still interesting to me. I hadn't really seen OpTic trying this specific one before, and typically in a circle such as this, from the Split 2 playoffs, you can see them take the southern route and go through staging or the landslide tunnel. Their plan is to rotate through Fragment and through this choke to play for the RV. In this instance, FaZe is holding down both chokes from them, and OpTic decides to evac tower over and take the RV.
Can we maybe just move here and pop tower and fucking just take the RV? I feel like they're playing.
He's running back to left hook.
Yeah, I feel like these guys are playing everything. Let's tower and take the fucking RV maybe.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Got it. Nice.
Pop it. All right, listen. If he's holding RV, just fly back and we just play this choke.
Let's reposition there.
Yeah, he's there. He's low.
Alright, I'm going with you. I'm landing.
Go. I'm gonna smoke immediately at our feet. We're telling
I rolled off the left.
Okay, maybe play aggro here. Bang back. I already did.
That was one of those things where, you know, my I guess expertise with rotates kind of came in. I just randomly one day in scrims was like, let's just like try this. Let's try going in from this east side. And we ended up trying it, and it actually failed miserably because we got like insta-killed trying to do that evac play. And we tried landing on the tower. I mean, we just got insta-killed. So basically I still thought in my head though, I was like, you know, this has potential still. So we did it again in that game, and this time we learned we're not going to land tower. We're going to land on the RV. So I screamed, land RV, because I saw it was one guy. So it ended up working out. That team kind of like got scared, and then we just rotated in from there.
Last time they tried this in scrims, they took the tower position and ended up getting sandwiched and died for it. FaZe meets the same fate by retreating to the tower and eventually even further south, only to get sandwiched between the landslide teams and OpTic. This is where we see the magic of this rotate. OpTic doesn't actually really have to do much to reach the endgame. Putting the pressure on FaZe and IGL Gaming removed the only teams that really threatened them, and everyone else gets cleaned up by LG on the south side. We fast forward to reach this position on the map where you can see that TSM and the Dojo are about to engage. LG is gonna third. Many have pointed out this exact moment as the one where OpTic needs to be prepared to fourth party and wipe the entire south side. There is only one problem. While this is happening, OpTic is facing DreamFire from their west.
Is there anyone playing this bottom spot
They
now?
saw me off on the right. They're here. Look at that. Make sure he's not swinging us.
I'm looking towards it. They're bang ulting. They drop down. Horrible spot. I'm throwing an arc on their horrible spot.
Looking. They wall.
Really bad wall. I killed one.
Over left. Nice. I'm looking left. I don't see anything.
Kill it. Alright.
Get those thirds if you can.
Play up towards the bottom spot. I don't even see anyone.
By the time they finish this and begun to discuss what to do next, LG has already finished the fight. But because OpTic was distracted, they don't actually know that LG is alone initially. Dropped even says that if the team south fight, they will third.
If they fight towards landslide over there on the far side, we fucking third it.
Okay.
And that lack of information on the team south is what holds them back here. Now, they do later seem to figure out that it is only one team, but at that point they end up making the decision to just hold the spot that they're in. Later, LG moves up and pressures them, causing Noct to drop his wall. Problem is, the zone timer still has a lot of time to close, and it doesn't end up being the greatest of walls, so they can't really do much with it. And later in the game, he's not going to have it back in time.
This rock is safe for now. It's not really good though, it's not good.
We need to go back to our spot. Pop that for Cowell.
Popping. I'm not looking at anything, I'm popping up still. I'm gonna popping a cell. I'm only at 70%, I'm only at 70%.
He's still left. We need to go left. Play on me.
I get up.
Okay, you just need to play time. I'm gonna bat.
Wall in 8%. Wall in 8%.
I'm gonna give you knock. I'm gonna give you knock. Still has a full armor. They're fighting. Full knock for you. Blue knock left side. Blue knock left side. Get that back off. Play right. Play right. Play right. Maybe just wrap right.
Bro, we need to wipe them, man. We need to wipe.
Unlike the previous game where they had very few advantages, this is probably one they're kicking themselves for. Had they had the initial information that LG had pushed towards Dojo and TSM, they probably moved quickly to 4th party since LG will be attempting the reset. Once they allowed LG to live, they still could have possibly made the push, but late in the game, they just ended up holding their spot because it was safe. That slight panic from Noct just leads to them not having the wall later in the game, and they die.
You know, people have talked about that countdown game and basically said like we should have pushed LG, which I in the game was calling like, you know, maybe we should like push this team. But what I was worried about is us getting wrapped from what ended up being Blackhand, the team basically holding the bottom there, just that bottom area, because it would be really easy for them to just basically hear the fight and then run over. You know, it's obvious in hindsight now, it's like, yeah, the push on LG would have been the game-winning play if we win that fight. But at the same time, people don't realize that we also misplayed on our side of zone in that end game. We Noct ended up walling when we started getting pressured a little bit at our spot, and that ended up kind of at the end of the game screwing us, because if we would have had wall there, I really do think that we could have walled off our side of zone and Blackhand and LG would have eventually been forced to fight. So, you know, there was a misplay at the end there for sure on our wall. But, you know, like I said, I'm not going to put all the blame on Noct. Like, you know, I could have also made the call to push LG that would have pretty much guaranteed us to win. You just gotta fucking win it, you know? There's no point in like doing a bunch of what ifs at the end of every game kind of thing.
So now we head to game 6, and remember how in the previous game I mentioned that Realize surprised Acend at Geyser? Well, last time Acend, being caught off guard, defaulted to North Siphon, but this time, rather than contesting Realize for Geyser, they decide to take Big Mod. So OpTic decides to fight them, and this is a very routine play from them. If any team decides to land at Mod, you're gonna fight.
Are these guys going Mod? Look at these guys.
Yeah, they're going Mod, I think. They're going Mod, Yeah, I'm going Acend. Okay, I'm going construction. Bro, it's just a... Oh, no.
It's Acend, it's Acend. They're full 3-man. Yep. Can we kill these fucking guys?
Yeah,
you guys have good
blue,
loot. These guys are fucking horrible, dude.
I have gold armor. I got gold armor.
Bro, let's go. Let's go, guys.
Okay, that's it.
There's no Geyser team. We're not gonna get thirded.
They're running out here.
Yep.
Are you landing RV? I'm going RV.
Landing towards the
They're still running.
Yeah, Crypto's in the open there. White armor.
Yeah. Kill a guy.
Right.
He's running right.
I'm going right.
He's behind this. Crypto's behind this. They're mining his run. Nice.
Kill me. They're low.
Falcon 20 Popping south. He's swinging right.
He's
He climbed.
Am I knock? Behind you. You're good.
He jumped.
He's aping. Yeah, that's full. I have knocks. I'll behind you still.
I just couldn't hit, bro.
I didn't know you were gonna swing that knock. How do you guys when I fucking kill them?
I ended up finding out after the fact that the reason they landed Mod was because a team, I think, was contesting them Geyser, and they were basically running away from a contest. And because I think I typed to him in the after game lobby, and I was like,
Drop goes Kashir, why come Mod when Geyser is free? And then Obley goes classic Acend mystery drop, as he's the one that lands their mystery.
Yeah. I love it.
What ended up happening was we fought them. We just trolled super hard. We shouldn't have lost that fight. And then they just got thirded immediately. Like, we would have all died no matter what. But it was, you know, in hindsight, if we knew that there was that extra team there, we would have never fought that, basically. That's what ended up being our, you know, kind of breakdown of that game was we were confident because we were playing so well to take that fight. And it didn't even matter if we won the fight or not. We knew we were gonna die, so it was obviously a bad play. But it's like Acend, we have history with Acend at Geyser, and the split 2 playoffs, they landed on us. I think it was in the very first group stage at our beacon at Mod, and they just like insta-killed Skittle, I think it was, at the beacon, because we were watching for that every game. We were like, all right, Ascend's doing their play that they like to, you know, go for our beacon because they didn't have one. And so we were thinking like, let's kill them when they try and run back to Geyser. And, you know, obviously now we know there was another team there, and it ended up being a horrible play because of that fact, but we just didn't know it beforehand.
We head into Game 7 on Storm Point. Notably, by this point, a few other teams have reached match point, so OpTic is no longer the singular threat. The circle ends up pulling towards the wall, and OpTic returns to their hybrid playstyle, choosing to move quickly for this zone. The dojo at Northpad is the only team that can directly mess with OpTic's rotate, but they do the armory, so OpTic has a free pass through the wall. But once again, we have a race versus NRG, only this time NRG does not have the Trident. Instead, they are evac towering towards the launcher.
We ended up learning. It's like funny how all these teams, like, we just have so many things that happen that we learn from them. But Acend was landing at checkpoint, I think, in group stages, and it was a a wall zone, and we were rotating fast for a wall zone. They flew out of checkpoint and they beat us into the wall because they landed on the launcher.
They hopped out. One of them's flush. Keep going, keep going. Zone's more important. Flying over, yeah, keep going, keep going. Yep, keep going, keep going. Get up into the wall. 20%. I think we literally just full send the... Oh, they're taking the launcher, bro.
Just go to the back here.
Yeah, go to the back and look for this building.
And that is something that's never happened to us before. And so we were like, well, shit, you know, now we know, we learned from it. That game, I think NRG actually was trying to beat us into wall, and we beat them because we took the launcher. So, you know, it's just like funny how like all these things happen with these certain teams, and we learn from them and end up, you know, helping us get those positions.
I just want to point out that this is the third time Dropped has specified that they learned something from another team in the past, either scrimmages or actual ALGS matches, that is giving them the edge in some of these key moments. Anyway, so OpTic is able to rotate through the wall up to this northwest building, and they play like a legit zone team here. They have God Spot. They literally do not have to move the entire game until the very last fight. So we reach the end game, and the plan is to have Noct wall out to the left side, and he and Dropped are going to sit outside. Skittle is apparently pretty crazy when it comes to late game zone plays and decides to take a tick of damage from the zone. This allows him to begin a med kit that he can time with his exit from the building through the storm to finish right on time, allowing him to come outside the building later than his teammates and ideally surprise anyone that they may be fighting with.
I'm gonna play left to the wall. Playing left. Playing left with you, playing left with you. Playing left with you. Right there, right there. I'm chilling here. Keep it fighting.
I get up.
He goes up, he goes up.
Knock down, knock down.
He's landing on you guys. I'm coming up. I'm batting.
Holding on. I should bang.
But OpTic ends up getting third. So what went wrong here? Well, as Noct and Dropped are outside, chaos is ensuing, and they are totally safe for a bit. But Skittle comes out and he uses his Horizon Q into the sky. When he does this, TSM from above actually ends up getting Q'd as well, and when Hal looks down, he shreds him, followed by Verhulst killing him. Then Dropped and Noct swing out, but with Hal in the sky, OpTic at this point are really the only team on the low ground that are getting focused, so the Dojo and TSM both kill them.
It's another what if, where it's like, you know, if Skittle didn't queue up, if he just ran out to where me and Noct were in the wall and we just like came out of that wall 3 deep, on the bottom, like on the you know, the low ground, the floor of zone where everyone else is queuing up in the air and stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a great chance that we win that game as well, 3 deep, you know, just shooting everyone in the air, falling into us.
In the final game, game number 8, we of course have the Thunderwatch zone. OpTic rotates through command center, ends up getting held out, and eventually gets mirrored by KCP, caught in a bad spot, and loses both Dropped and Skittle, leaving Noct to rat it out. And he ends up dying in 12th. TSM goes on to win that game, ending the tournament.
I mean, I would say that, you know, we were kind of just mad right after the fact, you know, because it just sucks when, you know, we had those opportunities in those games to close it out and win the tournament, and we just didn't do it. So, Yeah, I mean, it definitely sucks, and I still, you know, think in my head, I'm like, damn, you know, we were really right there. You know, it's like we could taste it, you know, just like the win. So it was just, yeah, I mean, it was really bittersweet. That's the best way to describe it. You know, because I still felt proud of the way we played, and that's what I was telling my teammates, you know what I mean? I was just telling them, like, something I kind of brought up to them was, you know, you look at TSM right now, and they're obviously cemented this past year of being the best team. They got, what, first, second, first? So, I mean, I just used them as an example. I was like, guys, you know, look at TSM, their first 2 lands together with Verholst. I think they got, like, 7th, and, like, you know, they got 2, like, I think it was 6th through 10th placements. Like, they, you know, didn't have any crazy placements. And I was just, guys, I was like, we've shown our potential, you know, and we know that we can go out there next year and win a LAN. So I would just say that, you know, our potential is limitless, you know what I mean, in terms of what this team can do. So I think that's what kind of makes me feel better about everything.
And I know that the story around OpTic seemed to be that they missed out on their chance to win so many times, and they certainly came close. And I know that even this video focused a lot on how they almost won each game. But we cannot forget the story of this team. Skittle and Noct didn't even make it to the Split 1 playoffs, and although the addition of Dropped helped in NA play, during the Split 2 playoffs, this team struggled to find their identity and somehow clawed their way to a decent finish. And although we skipped over it for the sake of diving deeper into each individual finals game, they had a hell of a run, placing 4th in groups, 4th in winners, and 2nd overall with the most total points. Being there in person, the presence of OpTic loomed large over the lobby. Could they close it out was the feeling going into each game. Every single time, they managed to put themselves in positions where they didn't need to do much to reach the end game and win, and seeing them alive in the top 5 always made the pressure of each moment feel that much larger. And sure, they didn't win, but as a trio, what they just accomplished was incredible. And now that they've been there together, they know what has to happen in order to be the team at the end lifting the trophy. They just have to go out there and do it. And in year 4 of the ALGS, there is honestly no other team in the entire world currently that looks more poised than OpTic Gaming to dethrone the dynasties of TSM and Dark Zero.